Live from Bethesda, Maryland, where the winters are hard and the cookies are soft. This is the Robert Dyer Channel Christmas Countdown 2021. And now, here's a man who went to DEF CON 1 when McDonald's dropped the eggnog shake, Robert Dyer. Hi everybody, Robert Dyer, and welcome to the Robert Dyer Channel Christmas Countdown, where today I have a special limited edition Christmas beer, and this is from the Open Gate brewery of Guinness in Baltimore, Maryland. It's right here in the state of Maryland, and this is the Guinness Chocolate Mint Stout. Now, unlike the beer I reviewed last Christmas from this brewery, this one should actually be available wherever you are all over America, because the ones I got last year were directly from the brewery in Baltimore, but this particular one is supposed to be distributed nationwide in stores, so if you can find this, it should be out there. And there's some fine print on the bottle, but I'm going to read it right off of the carton here. It says, Chocolate Mint Stout, aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels. 260 years of Irish brewing experience meets American beer creativity. Brewed with mint, aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels, and finished with cacao, however you say it. The result is a rich stout with tastes of chocolate, mint, and hints of vanilla. And then on the panel here it says Aroma, or it should say Aromas, mint, chocolate, oak, and vanilla. I'm assuming that's because the barrels are made of oak. And it says flavor, minty, malty sweetness with oak and a cocoa finish, and an ABV of 10.8%, so this is almost up there. A Four Loko Gold is 14 point something, so this is somewhere between an IPA and a malt liquor, basically. And I would say from the bottle and the description, it sounded right away like my kind of a beer. Probably the less bitter a beer is, the more I like it, or the more interesting the flavor is. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the bottle here. Okay, so here's the logo for the brewery. It says Baltimore, Maryland. And then here you have the label for this chocolate mint stout, aged in Kentucky bourbon barrels. It's brewed and bottled by Guinness Brewing Company, Baltimore, Maryland. Here in the back you have a little description, which I've already read from the box, and the government warnings. And then here is the actual bottle cap, which I think may be upside down. So let's go ahead and try to open this up here without, let's hope we have a better success than last year. I'm actually putting the cup upside down this time. Try not to knock the camera off the tripod. There we go. There she blows. Well, it's got a pretty strong aroma. I'm surprised there actually is a hint of oak in the aroma. And it also, the aroma quickly changing after the cap comes off, just over a matter of seconds. First whiff, you would think it was just it just was a regular beer aroma, but then I smelled the oak first, and then there was now from then on a blast of chocolate. Something between a cocoa and a chocolate. The mint aroma, not quite as strong as the chocolate, I would say. It's barely there. So let's get out the finest bachelor's glassware and try to pour some of this out. You can see a head of about barely an inch there. And lacing only on one side and just barely at all, none at all on the other sides. Basically goes with the head as it moves. However, it does have some staying power. It's about 2/3 of the height still. Let's go ahead and see how it tastes. Well, it's not overly sweet. It's definitely got a strong, I would describe it as more of a cocoa flavor rather than a milk chocolate or something like that. More of a dark chocolate. There's just enough of a mint flavor to give it that Andes candy sort of effect. The overall flavor, like the color, is quite dark, I would say. The finish is not that crisp on it. Definitely not to be confused with a Bud Light or something. The more I taste it, there is a little bit of vanilla in there. A little note of the bourbon barrels, the oak.
I got kicked out of the Turning Point USA America Fest this weekend because all the women were trying to get my autograph. They kicked Jimmy Pesto out too. I mean, Dan Crenshaw and Charlie Kirk just picked him up and started dragging him towards the exits. Eventually his pants just wiped off onto the rug and he was wearing those Italian underpants. Where is the cringe compilation? I want to stay away from the crowds this weekend. A good place to do that is just about any screening of West Side Story. What do they call it? The Megatron Deviant. I want to thank you, Bob. I want to thank you so much for never putting your country second. America first.
I'll say that the flavor is not exactly what you would expect. It delivered all the things it promised on the front, but what I mean is that when you think about a mint chocolate beer, I have to say that this is not something you're going to drink and it'll freshen your breath or anything like that. The mint is just enough to give you that sort of candy effect, but the mint is by no means overpowering at all. It's very subtle, and it would be more, as I said, like an Andes candy than a York peppermint patty or a cream de mint sort of thing. So very subtle mint flavor, but it is a fairly sweet beer. I think it would pair well. I don't have in front of me any professional recommendations, but just from my experience with this just now, I think it would go well with things that are rich but not too complex in flavor. So for example, I think it would be a good match with cheese or with any type of cake or pastry, a baked good, but not like a pumpkin pie and not gingerbread, because there's too much going on with the spice element. I think this is more of an after dinner beer as opposed to something that you would drink with the Christmas dinner, something you might have with a course afterwards. It has a nice chocolate aftertaste. There's still just a hint of bitterness in there, enough that you know it's a beer, and there's alcohol in it. And it's actually got a kind of a bourbon effect in that it is, you again think about mint, you think this would be like an icy cool drink, and in fact it's more of a warming drink as it goes down. So good for the winter, and a little surprising from the impression you get from the flavor from the packaging. So I would say that this delivered all around on what the advertised taste was going to be, and it was just about, I'll say it, I think it exceeded expectations. I think you could say in terms of this as a holiday seasonal beer, it would qualify as 5 stars. It's one of those beers that it's definitely going to put you in the holiday spirit. Also, I have to give a couple of shout outs to 2 super fans of the channel. One is Brian Javier, who just got a Robert Dyer shirt as a Christmas gift. Excellent choice. And also Michaela. Thank you so much for watching the channel. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. And if you would like a shout out here on the Robert Dyer channel, just order any of the merchandise you see below in the Robert Dyer channel store. Post a picture of it on social media and tag me, and you too will have a shout out right here on the Robert Dyer channel. So I hope you like this video, share it with your friends, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time tomorrow on this Christmas countdown. Bye everybody.